Hey guys, this is going to be a look at ZB ahead of the PPI number tomorrow. The question is whether we've broken trend ahead of that event, and the answer is possibly on ZB, but probably not on UB. And there's a lows to lows extension on 30-year yield that we need to break in order to get technically bearish on bonds. So it's a characteristic of UB and ZB that they don't typically top or bottom on the same wave. They're usually one wave apart. And so it looks like UB might need another high, but ZB does not. So in the overnight session tonight, um, ZB might just run stops across the range while UB makes a new high, and then they'll be in sync. So the reason the sellers have come out, I think, is coming off of the weekly charts, simply a 50% retracement of this move here. And we're butting up against this blue channel here, which is anchored by the bottom of one, the top of two, and the bottom of this wave, whether you think it's three or five. And so there's a little confluence of resistance there. It's sort of a logical zone. Let's look at the 30-year yield chart. So, you know, what I think is happening, oops, is we're completing a fifth wave down on yield. So there was this initial wave, a retracement that dipped into the 618 line, traded some stealth resistance. Then there was a third wave like that. We went into this green 236 target. We traded this lows to lows extension for a tiny little 4. And then this whole thing is a fifth wave that I think goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll look at this fifth wave in detail, but it seems to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're in this possible fifth wave right here. I don't like this overthrow right here. Often on ZB or yield, when you break out of a channel, it signals that that wave is over. So if I'm wrong, it might have something to do with that not being a wave 4, but maybe this large wave 1 down bottomed right there, and maybe this is a wave 2, in which case we'd be starting a wave 3 right here and trying to catch the bottom when it's really just going to rip our faces off. So I think that's, if I'm wrong, that's the scenario for how that would work. But I mean, if we just look at the daily chart I was looking at TNX today, right here, and this seems pretty unambiguous. Again, this is the daily chart, and it's a pretty clean, 1 down, 2 up, 3 down, 4 up into this lows to lows extension. And then within this lows to lows extension, we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically exactly like, where am I? 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly like this chart here. So that sort of confirms the reading that, this is potentially again, 1, 2, 3, 4, complete move. And on the daily, it's around oversold. So that's the basic reason to be thinking about becoming a seller here. And so if we go into the smaller time frame and we look just at this wave down here, there's an extension that we need to break down here. So if we go to the 30-minute chart, so I think wave 1 was from here to here. Oops. We sort of front ran that and ran to target. So this is the wave 3 right there. And we've, so this would be the wave 4, and I think we retraced this wave right here because we stopped cold at the 618 target of that move. And so this right here is possibly the 5th wave of the 5th wave. There was a 1, a 2, and then a 3 that subdivides 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, pretty clean. And then this 5th wave down is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the low. We came within 1 bip of it right there, but this so far is held as the low. We went through, I took off, no, it's there. It's hard to see. There's a 236 target that we went through here of this big short. And so there's a lows to lows extension off of this anchor right here. And if we go to the 5-minute chart, so we went through the 236 target, we created this extension, and I'm convinced that it is significant because we touched it, the 618 retracement to the BIP right here, and then this morning we touched the 50% retracement. There were 4 5-minute bars that closed dead on it. They could not get 1 BIP through that. And so this green target at 3.406, it seems like there are some algos that are just hell-bent on getting there. So reading this is kind of a mess, but if yield is going to come down and make a new low in the overnight session, UB would probably make a new high, but ZB would probably not. So that's sort of my read. And so where does that leave us for the morning? Well, if we capture the target, we would want to be looking for yield setting up in some sort of long from lows that could be a catalyst. So that's my best read on the yield chart. It seems like 5 waves down is virtually complete, with the caveat that this extension really needs to break. So if we go to the smaller ZB time frames, and really, how much time do I have? Okay, let's just get into the well, I want to look at this 4th wave and then this wave up, which could be the 5th wave that corresponds to this 5th wave down we were looking at on the yield chart. So I don't remember when I made the last video, but this turned into an expanded flat correction, right? We went A, B, C down on the jobs number, and then we went A, B, C up, and then we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down into this low. And this is a classic B wave high because it's soft. It's a soft high that did not get overbought right there, so I think that's corrective. And so we started a new wave right here, and we were trading this highs to highs extension that dipped in and then retested and held and went. And we've gone to and through its 618 target. And so, looking at this wave, it's actually sometimes easier to look at the tick chart. Let me see if I can do this. So it was an ABC down, ABC up, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into that low. So that was a 4, and then we went 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, maybe a 4, That was another 4, and this was a ripper of a fifth wave. And this was a highs to highs extension off of this first wave 1 down here, right? There was a 1 to 4 extension. Um, first that wave 4 traded, a 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm not going to be able to remember the whole sequence, but this first wave up traded that extension that just ripped out of the 8 a.m. time frame yesterday straight to the 50% retracement short. It went through its 618 target and it blew across not just the median of this hourly channel, but across this sort of stealth resistance line that had developed. And so what that gave us was a new highs to highs extension, right? That. And you can see that in the overnight it traded, and then we broke it. There's no way around it. We broke this variation of the highs to highs extension, and then we immediately traded this short setup. And I think in the overnight tonight they're going to run the stops here, right? They're going to take out this high, gobble up liquidity, but arguably ZB has had a break in trend. The argument for an extension that is not broken is very stealthy, and it's using exactly the same extension trading on the yield chart. Yield is trading an lows to lows extension off the bottom of what was its third wave over here. What was the date on that? That was 12 to 1600. And 12 to 1600. This was the top of ZB's third wave. And so we're ignoring this fourth wave corrective high and drawing it from the exact same wave and point in time as the yield chart. And that has arguably held, which bothers me. And so has ZB broken trend or hasn't it? I think it has, and I only have a couple of minutes left. Every trader is going to have to reach their own conclusion. I certainly don't want to be responsible for any damage done by assuming ZB has broken trend off of this 50% short. It's absolutely broken that highs to highs. But whether this stealth setup is valid or not that mirrors the yield setup, we will see. And so, I don't have time to really do the tick chart. But suffice to say that this wave down on ZB could be impulsive, which is step number 1. You need a 5-wave move down, right? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 2, a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. And then is there a 5 in there? I think there might be. But if we look at UB, which has always been stronger by comparison, here is the highs to highs extension on UB, and it traded it today, and it's clean and unbroken. And so if so the scenario, if yield is going to come down and make a new low and capture this target tonight, I think it's possible that UB makes a new high and ZB does not, because ZB has potentially an impulse wave down, and UB, it's hard to find an impulse wave in this move off the high. So there would be a divergence. That would be sort of UB makes a new high, ZB does not. That would be sort of a confirmation of sorts that ZB has already topped, and maybe it's broken trend by breaking its highs to highs short, and we should be expecting the algo to move us lower tomorrow. So I'm just trying to lay out the scenarios. I'm not making decisions for you, and I've explained why I'm a little ambiguous, and I am out of time. All right, thanks guys.